And one of the issues that I brought up was that, and I've often used this phrase, that his election can be one of two things. Is it an Obama moment or is it an Obama movement? The reality is with any movement, even Dr. King always talked about it, how do you keep people going? How do you keep them involved? How do you keep them active? And he was always concerned with people's interest dropping off. And as Deborah talked about in that clip, the whole notion of feeling like something has changed. How do you also battle that? Because we saw in town hall meeting on CNBC where the woman who stood up, the African American woman, talked about feeling something different. Feeling something different is obviously a lot different than some of the concrete policy initiatives put in place.
Yeah, but you know what? When we heard the woman who was then the celebrity, and she was on a lot of television shows afterwards, and she said, look, I care passionately about this president. I believe in him. I support him. And it's just frustrating because of the economy. And I think that's the overlooming issue that affects everybody. And no matter how enthusiastic you are about an election or a campaign, if you don't have a job, or if your brother doesn't have a job, or your sister doesn't have a job, and you're worried about your own ability to take care of your family, to put your kids through college, to retire with dignity. These are all issues that are really, really hard to grapple with, and people are struggling right now. And so I think part of that enthusiasm that you referred to is because of the state of the economy. And that's why it's so important that the president really did focus from day one on the economy. We would have been in much worse condition if he hadn't taken the bold steps that he did, beginning almost immediately with the passage of the Recovery Act. Not to mention the small business tax benefits and all of the range of initiatives that have been. This has been one of the most robust presidencies in terms of a legislative agenda. I can't think of anyone, can you, that has had a more robust agenda, and yet our economy is still struggling. And so we have to do everything we can going forward to, particularly in this campaign, to remind people about what really is at stake here. And when so many people are pouring millions of dollars in to return to the bad days, we have to just give them a brighter picture for the future. And that's what the president's doing right now.
What do you make of folks who say that former President Bill Clinton is far more popular these days on the campaign trail than the president?
Well, look, he's not the president anymore, so it's very easy to be popular when you're not the president. And I think he's been terrific. He's been out there very helpful to the party, and we appreciate his efforts. And the First Lady has been terrific, as I know you have covered her and interviewed her recently, and I think she brings a very personal way of talking about what's at stake here at the election. So we're going to take advantage of all of the opportunities we have to help remind people about what the opportunity is and what the risk is if we go back to the bad days. These are tough times for our country. It hasn't been this challenging in our lifetime, but I will also say this. We're resilient. We are tough. We are tenacious. America always innovates. It always rebuilds. It always bounces back. And we will have those bright days ahead.